Hey everyone, it's MeraMangle.
And Chasity Valentino.
And welcome to another Mangled morning. Woo! Giving you superhero teas.
Yes, darling.
I love this on you. It's very sexual, very sexy.
Thank you. I feel like the pink Power Ranger.
Yeah, but like, sexual.
Yeah.
Very sexual.
The pink Power Ranger dominatrix.
Yeah, you probably have a whip.
Yeah, or a crop.
Oh, even better, yeah.
Yeah.
You make them squeal like little piggies. Speaking of little piggies, we're talking about the queens on Drag Race. Some of them are little filthy piggies.
That's right.
Didn't Acacia write that on her mirror message on the way out? She's not on the list today. Last week with Chloe, we talked about the queens that were first to enter the workroom and what that meant for their trajectory on the show. Because if you're first to come in, producers are putting you first for a reason. The other spot that is very notable is, of course, last to enter on your season. Last to enter the workroom.
That's right.
There's also a reason to do that, right? Coming in first, a theme I see as a strong player, someone that gets the audience's attention, and will also narrate the other queens coming in. As to where last, I feel like coming in last, it's more about having the other queens that are already in the room all react to you.
Correct.
Would you rather go in first or last? Or in the middle? Where would you, like, if you got to go in the workroom, choose?
If I got to choose?
Yeah. I'd want to go in first. Because I want to be able to... I want to be able to narrate.
Oh, no. I
want to go in last and be the stunt?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I want to walk in and be like...
And we're looking at the U.S. seasons mainly. That's what our focus is. Because there's a lot of those seasons. And that's you entering the workroom.
That's me entering
the wig
workroom.
itches.
The wig itches, bitch.
It's hot already here in St. Louis, and I'm feeling it.
70 degrees.
But in drag with the big wig and
112.
all that, right? It feels like it is.
This here latex.
In the middle of Pride, the sun is on me beaming. It kind of is, though. Before we get started, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like the video, and join the Patreon where you can see all kinds of additional content you can't see on YouTube. Plus, you're helping support the channel. Now, you can also support the channel by tipping on Venmo, CashApp, or the YouTube thanks, which we'll go over some of those at the end of the video. All right, let's get started. And we're going to look at the first 3 seasons all at once, see the last girl to enter the workroom on seasons 1 through 3. And the reason why we're looking at all 3 of them is they have something in common. Season 1, it's BB. Season 2, Tyra. Season 3, Raja. They all won. The entire thing.
They're winners, baby.
I mean, talk about a pattern.
Okay. I think they had to change it up after that because they were like...
Uh-huh. Yeah. I mean, otherwise it's just way too obvious.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it is still, when you look at the first and last, you know, if these videos are companion pieces, you definitely see that they, for the most part, unless it's a double premiere or something like that, the first and last tend to play some sort of important story on the season.
Yes.
Which tends to be people that make it far. Obviously, they all played important stories.
They played important stories, honey.
I remember Raja out of the 3 feeling the most strategic from production because it was a gag because she delivered a different type of drag that not all the girls were featuring.
Okay.
Wasn't it Mariah that was like,
Yeah, but now the girls would have featured it now.
Right. But back then that was way different.
Yeah, that was way off.
Also, though, when she took it off, I think that was Mariah's problem, was that heavy eye.
Yeah.
The actual eyes. It's an iconic entrance look that I feel like either she's done a play on or we've seen other queens do references to.
Mm-hmm.
It's very iconic.
Both.
Right, probably both. BB just came in business casual.
Okay.
And I don't think anyone had a plan. I don't think they put her last to scare the girls because they didn't even have a...
They didn't have a plan then.
They didn't have anything planned. They didn't have anything set up for them to even react, you know.
Okay.
Moving on to season 4, it's Latrice Royale. She's kind of what you would want from, like, the girls' reaction.
Uh-huh.
She walked in, said, "Eat it," and the girls screamed. As if they already knew her.
Yeah.
But they already... It's like, the second she walked in, we all knew her.
But Latrice, like, even prior to Drag Race, Latrice was pretty well known. In the drag community, at least.
Because she was kind of a pageant queen.
Yeah. But also, like... Mama was painted for the back row. She
was, yeah.
Had all those stones on her face.
She loves the stones.
But if she wore that dress now to enter the workroom, honey, they would read.
I don't like the dress, but her makeup, the stones, all that's great.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's one of the most iconic entrance lines of all time. Eat it. That's it. And this is our first, if you looked at our first 3, these girls are opening actual doors to get in.
Okay.
This is our first, like, actual entrance, no door to come through, where it's kind of a setup.
They saved the doors for Ru.
Right. Season 5 is very iconic. Some of these early seasons are next level iconic.
This was the face crack of
The century.
Drag Race.
Face crack, I think that's what she says, right? Face crack of the century.
She said face crack of the century.
Talk about pageants. Pageant drama. I don't think we've ever seen anything top this to this day. And it paid off. I mean, it was a story arc all throughout the season. Coco Montrese is last. And part of Coco's entrance is Alyssa's reaction throughout. And we get to hear that there's a very sordid story. We don't get all the details yet, but we get that throughout. Mm-hmm. But we know we're in for it.
This was such a smart pairing.
Yeah. They've never edited anyone else's entrance. This, like, the music was literally like, oh, like the devil entered.
And Alyssa was gagging.
And then when Coco sees her, she's like, oh.
Uh-huh.
Like, neither one of them were happy about it.
Yeah, it was not a pleasant surprise.
We loved it. Moving on to season 6, this was a split premiere, so the last two to come in each group. First group was Vivacious, and second group was Darien Lake. So now that we're at split premieres, a thing we sometimes saw with the first to enter is now they're trying to switch it up to, like, not make it... Because everyone else we saw were key players in the season, made it to top 5 or better. Or 1. What we start to see when there's split premieres is maybe they are choosing someone who goes out early and someone who makes it all the way to the end, which is the case here.
Yeah, because, I knew from the entrance look, Vivacious wasn't going far.
The zipper. I mean, I think that's part of why they put her last, because they wanted the other girls to react to her crazy look.
Yeah.
And it's just a shame she couldn't get out of it. But Ornacia is still one of the most famous queens ever to come through there.
Yeah.
You know? Not Vivacious, but Ornacia.
Okay.
The head on her head. And then Darien, made top 4. I didn't necessarily see it. Especially not based on this entrance. But
no.
She was a key player on the
She's
season.
definitely got her going to the mall dress on.
Now, the first to enter on both episodes were Adore and Bianca.
Who were key players.
Top 2 of the season.
Right.
And then Darien's one of the top 4, and then early out.
Yeah.
Now we're looking at season 7 and 8. The last to enter on season 7 is Tempest du Jour with this baby. That's why they put her last, because of this entrance stunt with the baby giving birth. So iconic. And then they put Derek last because she was giving Britney realness.
Yeah, she was the Britney impersonator.
She was the 100th queen to enter. What's funny about Derek doing Britney is the next couple seasons after this, they have the real person enter last, making them think it's the Derek.
Which that was kind of sickening.
I love Tempest's entrance. It's so funny.
Oh yeah, I think we knew what we were getting from that entrance though.
Right, with the look especially. But I mean, the entrance line, Mama's got a fresh tuna casserole. And it was like the noise she made that made it so perfect before she gave birth. She goes, Ma! And then just the baby just, Ma! And the baby just falls out.
Okay.
And Derek did look sickening. I mean, it was. It really was Britney realness.
Yeah.
No one can come for her for that.
It's Britney, bitch.
Now, we're looking at seasons 9 through 11. And the reason why I lumped these queens together is this is the social media era, where the last girl to enter is the social media queen. And some of them immediately don't live up to expectations, to what we see online, and some do. So Aquaria escaped the theme that Aja and Soju both got.
Yeah.
Where the girls were like, well, that's not... I mean, she's famous online for this, but
Aja, that we're not getting that.
Trinity immediately says, I'm going to have to tell her what she looks like. Meanwhile, I mentioned Gaga. Of course, Gaga enters after Aja, but that don't count.
And who came in after? Was it Christina?
Actually, it's not until, like, Ariana on season 15 that another person comes in the workroom and does that. But then Miley does on season 11, she pretends to
be the
not the pit crew, but the camera people. What are they called? Staff.
Yeah.
Words.
Production.
Yes, thank you.
Wait, but what season did Christina pretend to be?
That was on 10, but she didn't do that till the main stage. Remember?
Right.
She pretended to be Pheromone on the main stage.
And they were gagging. They were like, "Oh my God, she looks just like her. Wait, that's really her." Yeah.
Because Farrah couldn't have done that with the...
Okay. Yeah, Aja, thank God for growth.
Her pictures online, if you had followed her, she looked very polished.
Yeah.
Makeup looked great.
She had Face-tuned the hell out of him.
Right. I feel like that's what I learned about Facetune.
Yeah, because she was... Because remember, when she first came in, she was, like, muddy and creamy, and, like, her makeup was really...
Really dark eyes. Like, you couldn't see her eyes.
Yeah. And that was...
She grew a lot.
Now she looks like the girl in the picture.
There you go. Talk about a fan. That's the journey. That's a storybook ending.
She is now the girl in the picture.
And Aquaria won. So we have another winner. It's been a minute since we've had a winner.
Okay.
We had 1 through 3 and now 10. But that's actually way better odds than Bianca was the only winner on the first entrance on the regular seasons. So of all of them.
Yeah.
So way better odds for you to enter last to win the whole season versus me trying to come in first.
That's why I chose it, Charlie.
Next, we're looking at seasons 12 and 13. On 12, the top 2 up there are from 12. It's a split premiere. We've got both Kooky Queens that they chose to enter last. Missouri's own Crystal Method and then Aiden Zane. And on 13, the very last queen to enter was Elliot with 2 T's.
Crystal made it pretty far.
Top 3.
Yeah.
Aiden, not so much. Although, considering that Vivacious and some of the other queens we looked at were first or second out,
yeah,
she actually made it further than most do in being the other queen.
And then Elliot with 2 T's.
Kind of the same as Aiden. I feel like she went out around the same time. They both went out at Snatch Game.
Yep.
Because I just did that video a couple weeks ago.
So yeah, she came out at Snatch Game, to what, like midway?
Yeah. Aiden, I understand more why they would put her last, because she does deliver a bit of a different aesthetic, but I'm not sure why Elliot was chosen last. But also, you remember that was that season where they entered in small groups and then had to go lip sync right away?
Uh-huh.
But she was in a group of 3 with her, Tina Burner, and...
Tanisha, wasn't it?
Tamisha was on the next season. Kimora Hall, Tina Burner, and her. So they had to do a 3-way lip sync to...
Elliot wasn't on the season?
No, Tamisha was on that season. You're right.
I was like, she was in Elliot's group.
She wasn't in that. No, she wasn't in that group because it was Lady Marmalade, and it was Tina, Kimora Hall, and her in the lip sync.
Oh, no. They went to the loser's room.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tamisha lost her lip sync. We're confused on what we're talking about.
Yeah, it's starting to jumble together, child.
It really is. Especially when we get to these later seasons. Next is season 14, and another split premiere. In the first group, it was Orion's Story, one of our early outs, and then Diabetti, who was eliminated first, but ended up being top 5 of the season. Another Missouri girl entering last. Both the Springfield girls. Don't yawn at them.
I couldn't help it. I had to yawn and hiccup at the same time.
Diabetti kind of makes sense, too, just because you have... I feel like there's expectations and people were anticipating her because of Crystal. Mm-hmm. You know, so you want someone like that to come in last as well. Someone that has a name.
Mm-hmm.
Orion, though, was kind of random, but does fall in line with one of the girls is an early out.
Yep.
You know.
And I think they kind of like flip-flop it back and forth between like the...
yeah. When it's a split premiere especially.
When it's a split premiere, yeah.
I still don't understand Orion's entrance line where she's like talking to the hamburger phone saying, RuPaul, you want me to something?
Yeah.
I asked her about that when she filmed with me in person, and I still couldn't make sense of it.
Still didn't get it?
But she's a sweet girl.
Sometimes it just ain't meant to be.
Right. Just put the phone down.
Just put the phone down.
Call it disconnected. Up next is season 15, and these you definitely understand why. In the first group, it is Sasha Colby, the winner, and she is a legend. So everyone's going to be stunned, gagged, cheering. The same way they clapped for Latrice.
Oh, probably almost all of those girls already knew who Sasha Colby was.
Right.
They all knew. She has been a sensation and a household name long before Drag Race.
And just got everyone scared immediately.
So when she walked in, she was...
She had to do a meet and greet.
Honey?
Immediately.
And like she's a polished, seasoned...
Professional
well,
girl. And this look, it's her brand in terms of being sexy, but also showing off the Hawaiian heritage and all that. Our only pair at this point still to enter were Sugar and Spice, which they fall into the social media queen.
Yes. And again, the girls knew who they were.
Right. And one was an early out. And then one made it about halfway. So again, they fall into all the stereotypes in that way. It all is still adding up, and we're at season 15.
We're at season 15.
But yeah, there we go. Another winner. Clock that.
Clock it.
We're at 16 and 17. On 16, we've got Dawn and Nymphia win, our winner from season 16. And then on 17, spoiler, she can't win. Lucky Star was the last in. And she was the first out.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the first to enter on 17 was Lexi Love. So maybe she'll be up there with Bianca to win the whole thing. Dawn actually made it further than most of the queens that make it halfway.
Mm-hmm.
That was a long season, though. It felt like,
It was a long season.
Yeah, she made like top 6 or something like that. So
yeah.
Was she a social media queen? Was she well known for that? Like, maybe she falls into that more?
I don't know.
She definitely falls into the, like, interesting, oddball, different drag aesthetic that we
Definitely
see with Crystal and Aiden and some of those folks. And Nymphia, yeah. Comes in on brand from day one. Stupid, in yellow, and bananas. And she said, here's the brand. And
wins the whole thing.
Delivered at all times. The reason for an all-star to enter last is definitely to gag the girls in some type of way. So you got Tammie Brown. They were just gagged because she's just so silly.
Yes.
They were happy to see her. Adore Delano definitely was placed last to gag the girls because she was the big music superstar at the time on All Stars 2.
Was.
BB gagged the girls because she's a winner coming in.
She was the first winner to come back.
Right. And competed on All Stars. Then the next year, they brought in Latrice and Manila in last because they've already competed on All Stars. They were the first to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Then Angina, what you'll see is there's a lot of season 1 girls that put last because it's a gag to see someone from season 1
Yeah, because they've been gone for a minute. Now they're back with the jump off.
And I think we all thought that Angina was going to be a strong competitor on that season, but she got in her own head.
Yeah.
Because Chanel was also put last on All Stars 9. She wasn't from the U.S. season 1, but the Vivienne was last on the all-winner season.
The Vivienne.
Right. And she did look incredibly stunning. And the Vivienne was put last on the UK season that we'll look at in a second. So she was last twice on both of her seasons.
And you still want to go in first?
Yeah, because I just want to talk about all the other people.
I don't need to give them that. I need my airtime.
But I'll have more airtime because I'm in the room
Just
longer.
that episode, darling.
So you're saying I'll be out first?
Well, if you're going by track record of when you walk in the room.
Oh, I was like, we haven't competed. What do you mean track record? I think Eureka, because she's strong competition, was chosen last in All Star 6, and she's competed on multiple seasons. You know, like she was one of the bigger names.
Yeah.
Lala kind of stands out different because she's like a geniality, being last on All Stars 8. She was one that I can't really think of a theme a box to put her in, and also her look was a little wackadoo.
It was a little wacky.
But, and then at the bottom, very small, are the Verse the Worlds. The one that's most notable is definitely Lemon, because out of all these All-Star seasons, including the Verse the World, Lemon, which is the most recent season, finally broke the curse because the last girl on All-Stars won. Which, when you flip that around, when we were looking at the first in, a lot of All-Star winners come in first.
So you got to make it through. So you had to lose to win.
So if you want to come back and win on All Stars, you want to come in first. You don't want to come in last. As I mentioned for UK, the Vivienne on season 1, then Ahura, Charity Case because her drag is just way out there.
Yeah.
Cheddar Gorgeous came in first on season 4 because she's one of the biggest names on social media and a drag icon. Sorry. The winner came in first, though, on that season, Danny Beer. They were the top 2, first and last. Ain't that something? And then the last 2 are very different because they're the first outs on 5 and 6. Alexis on 5 and Dita Garbo on 6.
They just wanted to keep them near the door.
I think they wanted to switch it up because all the other ones are... Charity doesn't make it to the end, but all the other ones are key players in the season.
Yeah.
So you got a 1 out of 6 chance to win, and could also be a runner-up. Lovely runner-up. And then finally, Canada. I almost didn't include it this time because there's not as much of a theme as they had for the first in. And that's why I don't include all the other smaller seasons because you need a few of the seasons to be able to really get an idea of what the production's been trying to tell us. The only person from all the Canada girls that makes it to the end is Michaela Couture on season 5. All the other folks are either first out or mid-outs.
Yeah.
They don't really have a great arc on the season.
Yeah, there's no big...
Tainomi on season 1 and Halibay on season 3, they were big names in Canada.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, why they were chosen. But
they didn't live up to the hype.
They didn't do well on the season. Halibay was first out, and Tainomi had a lip sync almost every week. Still was out early. Now it's time to take a look at our YouTube things. And Thomas is coming through for us, as always, as he did on the old channel and the new one. Thomas said, sorry for the late tip. You're not late. You're right on time, Thomas. Said that, you know how happy I am that you're back, and I appreciate you taking the time to read my DMs. Means a lot. I try to. It's weird how I feel like for Instagram, like who ends up in my, unseen or like, there's too many inboxes. And I try to get to a lot of them.
Yeah.
Especially if they're nice.
Yeah. Especially when they're nice.
If you're you're probably going to be ignored, but...
Ignored or blocked, whatever.
Sure, right. Depends on how I'm feeling that day, actually. But Thomas is always lovely. He said, in our dark times, you were always the bright light that took us away from our monsters. So in 2025, when you had to deal with yours, I wanted to remind you that we're always here for you. That's so sweet. And it sounds like it's like from a book. My tips go towards Mera Sparkle, which I see as your superpower. Oh, he's giving me a superpower too. What is that?
And our superhero outfits?
Thomas didn't even know.
Didn't even know.
Look at God. That leads me to a question. When you're creating Mera as your drag persona, inspired by a superhero, did you ever imagine that you would actually become a superhero to all of us? Jeez, Thomas, you're getting a little too sappy now.
Oh, Thomas is trying to tap into the field.
Right.
Okay, but did you?
No. I mean, I still struggle with, like, it took me years. I mean, people used to come up and say lovely things before I started the channel in person about, like, they love this or that, or they would say, say that you're their favorite or whatever. And for years, I would always respond, even to YouTube. I would be like, why? And because, I mean, part of it's to be silly, but also I genuinely struggle to understand it a lot, but it's something that I'm getting better at and have learned to understand and feel a bit of a connection. I got to connect with the folks deeper during all of the madness that's occurred in my life, which was really lovely, and something I'm very grateful for.
You help the people as much as the people help you.
I was gonna make a joke, but I won't. I need to try to have a sincere moment for once.
Yes. Just bask in it.
That's what that smell is. It's the basking. Been basking for too long. Sending lots of love from my layover in NYC because what? There's always a Mangle morning somewhere. God, I miss saying that. That's not what he said, but that's how RuPaul said that.
Yeah.
What was it when she finally got to say lip sync for your life again?
God,
I miss saying that. That was the most animated she was all season.
Okay.
It does have a different ring to it. There's always a Mangle morning somewhere. There's always time for a Mangle. Now I sound like Mrs. Kasha Davis. The more you put emphasis on there's always time for a cocktail. Not for me. You might want to go have a cocktail now.
Nah, I want to go have a nap.
We're going back to bed.
Okay.
The morning has been had. It's time to go. I have one last thing to say today. Glad you got to see us. Bye.